Dear viewers, welcome to interview with Stephen Irving. The economic hardship unleashed on Nigerians by the current administration are due to undemocratic policies and uncertain bold decisions has forced Nigerians to take out to streets demanding for immediate end to bad governance. The protest, which is expected to span for 10 days and which initially promised to be peaceful, turned violence further results in the vandalization of public facilities, looting, and even loss of life, yet leads to say. From all of that, I am joined by Roland Asu. He's a political interested and educator. Mr. Roland Asu, many thanks indeed for joining me on interview with Stephen.
My pleasure to be here, Stephen.
Okay, today marks the 8 day into the protest. You know, Nigerians have been calling out into the streets to protest against the bad governance which has infiltrated hunger and unprecedented inflation. Now, given the ensuing adverse consequences and ripple effects of the protest, do you think that the protest should have heard in the first place?
Right, thank you very much for that particular question. I want to say that protest and protestation are enshrined in the constitution of at least, without research, 97% of the countries of of this planet. So it means it is a means or a vehicle in which citizens tend to ventilate their anger, pour out their thoughts, and of course try to restructure the society through their words, through their gatherings, through hunger strike, because we have different methods in which people do strike. People go into protest or protestation as the case may be. I want to say that this is not the first time um, people go into protest the world over, even as we speak, in Venezuela and some other climes, even the United Kingdom. You've not heard that, of course, people are killed. It's just a means in which people tell what they don't like about the society. I want to give us a few examples. Let me just name them out. Mahatma Gandhi took his protest, and it was through his protest with other nationals that India was able to gain her independence. We talk about South Africa, led by, of course, Nelson Mandela, of blessed memory. It was through his protest that they fought against appetite, racism, subjugation, and repression and oppression of the citizens. And the United States South Africa finally got their independence. I can also tell you with authority that before the United States got their independence, I think about 10 persons had to write some letters, and in fact, they staked their lives for this. It was a kind of protest, and they got what they looked for. So, what am I saying? The human spirit is intrinsically rebellious to inequity, to hunger, to oppression, to repression. So it was never wrong. However, I bear my mind to the families of those who have lost their loved ones in the course of crime, that Nigeria becomes a better place. So I can say that protest is a vital part of the fabric of any society. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So how do you assess the president's speech? Do you think the speech achieved its desired objective? Because many Nigerians and critics of the speech are of the opinions that Mr. President, in his speech, failed to address the concerns of the protesters. So, and therefore, it would have been better if the president didn't come at all to address the nation. What are your thoughts, please?
I wish you never asked me that question. But since you have asked, I will say the president's speech was just like water full or filled in a basket. You should know what that means. His speech was, like my great grandfather would say, sweet palm wine that lacks substance. So Well, first, the second question was if at all he should have come out. Yes, of course, he is the head of this nation, he is the president of this country, he was, let me say, elected, and therefore he owes it to the citizens that he speaks to them in times like this. But unfortunately, all the cravings of the citizens were trashed in the abyss, none of which was addressed. Everything the president said was as if he was beginning his campaign and bringing some kind of propaganda of what the government has done and what the government has not done. But people are talking about hunger. But let's just start. In 2014, February, or was January, I think from January 3rd or 2nd of January, when Nigeria rose against the leadership of Jonathan then, when he increased the fuel price. And there was an outcry. Some of these persons who are protest aversive were the ones who were pioneering the protest. And at the end of the day, Mr. Jonathan or Dr. Jonathan conceded to their demands, and he had to bring back the price of petrol to the 90 something thousand naira it was being sold at. So it is all about you. In fact, you are serving the people. You are supposed to concede to what at least, if not 100%, but 20%, 30%, you cannot switch the people's anger and not just to come and just give empty words to the nation and go back to sleep. It was quite unfortunate, I can say, Stephen.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say that. It was unfortunate.
All right, okay. Some, the southeastern parts of the country populated by the Igbos, they identify with the protest. Yes, some Yorubas in Lagos have been calling for Igbo must go protest, which is expected to start or kickstart on the August 28th. As you mentioned that the Igbos have been given 1 month notice to leave Lagos. Now, given that ethnic bigotry and hate speech, what do you think is the future of an Igbo man in Nigeria? But first, I would like you to react to that divisive rhetoric or hate speech that the Igbo must leave Lagos.
You see, the political hegemonies in Nigeria will always find a way around to continue keeping themselves in power. And because of that, they have tried their possible best to make sure that hunger, uh, ethnic bigotry, and religion are their vehicles in which they use to turn around the intentions of the ordinary citizen. They make you get hungry, they give you hunger, then give you bread to win you to their side. They make you go hungry, give you bread to make you to. They infest you with ailment or sickness, they give you drugs so that they can win you to their side. And that's what they are doing. So they have succeeded in entrenching the gullible Nigerians to their side by selling them the idea of bigotry, of religion, of hunger. So that is what the political elites have been able to do as far as I'm concerned. And it is quite unfortunate. So looking at answering the other side of whether the Igbos, yeah, the Igbo man,
Yeah, do you think he has a future in Nigeria, an Igbo man?
he does have a future.
Okay.
An Igbo man will always survive. That is because the Igbo man does not seriously depend on what the government can do for them. Instead, the Igbo did that. The Igbos have given more to this country than you can even imagine. The Igbo man will continue surviving because they would have been made the scapegoats. And I understand perfectly why they caused their own not to be part of this protest and protestation. They would have been used as scapegoats. I heard of that. The guy, I think his ex handle, formerly known as Twitter, they call it Lagospedia. He championed that Igbo must go. He championed it. And as we speak, I think he has been kicked out or he kicked himself out of Twitter. But it was just unfortunate that the president just passively mentioned it. I thought the president would have taken more drastic action than that. And I must say, without words of equivocation, that the Southwest in this country are the ones pioneering bigotry, ethnic bigotry. And that is quite unfortunate as far as our country, Nigeria, is concerned.
Okay, because of time, what advice do you have for the Nigerian political elite and, of course, the protesters of Nigeria generally?
Yeah, my advice is this: the president should concede to some of the outcry of the citizens, of the protesters. He should concede to some of them. He should see how he can revert the fuel price, revert electricity tariff, see how he can make a kind of reshuffling of the electoral act. And in fact, if they have to pass the bill at at the level of the National Assembly, so that the bill, or I mean the elections can be, should I say, be counted through the electronic means. Let me put it that way. I am just begging the word that I was supposed to use there. So I think it has gotten to a point where they should know they are leading people. They didn't get themselves there. But even if they did, it is our resources that they are using. Look at that, asking an ordinary citizen to be patient with them. But look at how luxurious they live, buying yachts, buying private jets, the vice president apartment for billions of naira, renovating it. The office of the first lady, about 1.5 billion naira given to her office for cars, and we even have the office of the first one, the office of the first daughter. So this is luxury. It means you're not taking into consideration the plight of the ordinary citizen.
Okay, all right. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Mr. Roland asked you many times in this for being on interview with Stephen, and of course, I appreciate your perspective and expertise on the topic.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.